All right. Yeah. So as I was saying, like AWS is among the top cloud providers if you consider GCP and Azure. So AWS comes at number one, and then comes Azure, then comes Google. Yeah, guys. I'll talk about everything today. Your doubts will be cleared. So please, like when I ask if you have any questions, you can ask then, and I'll explain like if you are having doubts related to the current thing, and at the end I'll take all of your questions, if that is fine. All right, so as I was saying, like AWS is a big thing. So if you go in their products, you see a lot of things. So they have this featured services, EC2, S3, and DynamoDB, RDS, Lambda, VPC. But if we go to the basics, like how many of you know what actually is like a cloud? Can anyone like give a simple explanation?
Yeah,
So
shall I?
it is a virtual environment
Okay.
where we can host our computers or servers, and we can use it virtually, actually, not actually physically, but we can use it from anywhere by using a network,
Okay.
and mostly that network is internet.
Okay.
We also have private clouds in which the internet is not used, but
Mhm.
services like AWS and Azure, we use internet as a network.
Okay, that's a good explanation, Harshchan, but I would like to simplify it more. So if you run any website or anything on this internet, even this like we are like right now this Zoom, we are doing this Zoom thing. And the thing is, everything is running through a server. Everything needs computer. You might think it's just our computer which just gets connected peer to peer, which is not the case. But the thing we are having with cloud right now is we AWS. Sorry, so we have like a backend where we have this whole infrastructure. So most popular programming language, if you use Node.js or Java or .NET or Python, whatever you use, so you run something in your terminal locally. I'll bring this up. So this is the terminal. If I have to run a node server, I'll type node and whatever my server name is. Okay. So this is how we are running it locally. But if we run it locally, it means we are using our own computer and the CPUs. If I utilize it, just let me show you the course. If I go in the resources, so this is my monitor graph. So this is the like you need to understand the basics of computer before we move into cloud. So these are the cores. So which is like these are the same things. If you want to scale your system, you will need to understand like what is CPU, what are cores, what is memory, what is swap, and what is network, and what is bandwidth. So a lot of things are involved. So this just like what happens in cloud, they actually, instead of us, if you want to host your site, you can use your local computer as well. So I can just host my site here, and what I can do is just port forward, open a port from my ISP, and you will get an IP. And then what I can do is I can open the DNS. So I'll sign in here right now to show you like how things work. So we have like a server and we have IP addresses. All right. So you guys know about IP addresses, right? Okay, cool. You guys can just type like if you yes or no in the chat as well, if that is fine. Great, great. So IP is the basic thing. If you go from computer networking, I will not teach you how to create AWS account right now here, because it is very simple. You go and you create an account, like they'll ask you for your phone number and basic details, just like how you create a Gmail account. And you will have to add your net banking or credit or debit card. And you will get a 1 year free tier as well. So, and most of the things which I will show you here is not going to cost you anything. even if you are running out of the free tier, even if like you have like completed 1 year as well. So here like the thing what Amazon provides is it's like a lot of services. Cloud is like right now I showed you here. So a lot of things are going on, like there is networking and all that. But AWS is, you can say like they provide just bunch of services for almost all your needs. So there is this thing called DNS, domain name server. So if you type amazon.com or if you go to learnaws.io, so this is what happens. It gets routed through your ISP and it gets resolved. And internally the what this is right now, this is hosted on CloudFront with S3 and with some like integration with Lambda and like static things as well. I will do some other session where I'll explain how you can do these things as well. But today I'll just show you how to do a basic website hosting using AWS. And yeah, so that is it. So if I go in my here, like I have another domain, I have not added the same thing. So Route 53, this is something like where you manage your DNS, and Amazon DNS is so powerful. Like you can geographically distribute your where, like if your traffic is coming from India and you have your server set up in like India, so you want that to be redirected to India, right? So that is what like Route 53 does. Rahul, yes. Okay, hold on. How do I accept?
Can we buy the domains directly from Route 53, or do we need a third party service for that?
Yes, we can buy directly from Route 53. That's a very good question. I don't see anyone to accept. Okay, no issues. Yeah, so if I go in hosted zone, but you have to keep in mind, if you go and buy from Amazon, like it will be the most expensive because it is Amazon. It's like one of their services, like which I'm not sure, they must have some reasons why they are charging so high for the domains. But it doesn't matter where your domain is from. All you need is you will create a hosted zone here. I'll just show you my existing zone. This is my another website. So here you see all these records. So it doesn't have to be like this. I can, like in the A record, I can also put my IP address, whether it is local or like if it is local, I need to expose it to the internet, right? If I don't expose it, no one will be able to access it. But what Amazon does, like we have the full control. If we want to expose it, who to expose, who should allow, like all those things, lot of things. But today I will not go that deep into it. But yeah, so this is where again, this is a domain, and internally Amazon is managing everything with an IP. So every device, like even if you like go in terminal or like if you type if config, you will see a lot of addresses. Your devices have local address and all that thing. So you everything happens based on IP. So just make sure you know that. But what Amazon does is, for every service, whether you use S3 or whatever, they'll give you their own domain, like own custom domain. If you use S3, it is going to be like S3 : and the reason followed by your bucket name. Okay, so Amazon has this thing. Now coming to the point, like what today I am mostly going to focus on is on the serverless part of AWS, which most people are not aware, or they are very like, it's really hard to like for them to understand. So this is Route 53. This is like, if you compare it with other services, like I use Cloudflare as well. They also have a lot of things you can do that. And like if you want to do same thing in AWS, they have got you covered as well. So any doubts about DNS and IP, guys? You can ask me.
Hey Shivam, thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask that it's not necessary for me to buy a domain from Amazon, right? I can
Yeah.
buy a domain somewhere else and I
Yeah,
can
this
just,
domain like nootnoot.in, I have like bought it from Cloudflare or somewhere, or Namecheap.
yeah,
Yeah, you can buy it from anywhere. So
and I
all
just
you will
have to
have
update
to,
the A name or C name record, something like that. It's,
no, you will
no?
have to update this NS record.
Okay, yeah, name servers, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it. And it will be like, they will give you for every, like whenever you create a new record, you will get this and just update
yeah.
it. And it
Yeah.
should like work. Then you can manage everything from here.
And yeah, I assume this, I mean, these will be the NS name server records that I have to copy to my domain provider,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Okay, cool. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else has any doubt or questions regarding this? Lakshay route table, I have not used it much. I have only used EC2, and like I have done the configuring part where like we allow what traffic to in, what port to open, like a firewall thing, which I'll show you in a moment as well. So yeah, sorry. Okay, so is there anything else? If not, I'll move forward, like explaining, going back to AWS. So AWS, like as I was explaining, what they gave us is like they gave us lot of stuff which they handle, but they make it really accessible to the developers like us or DevOps people. So what we do is like Route 53, I showed you. This is like one of the most important thing which you should know before, like that's how the internet works, through DNS. You send a request, then the server sends some response, the status code and all that thing happens. So this is where it starts. So let's suppose you want to host your traditional application. Okay, I'll start from there. So AWS offers a service called EC2. Many of you might have heard, or many people use DigitalOcean because they simplified it. And I also used DigitalOcean at a time until my account got blocked or terminated, you might say. I don't remember actually what happened. Yeah, AWS account was terminated. DigitalOcean was fine. So yeah, and I'll go back, I'll close this. So yeah, they also offer you VP as we call it, a virtual private server. So it's same thing, you get a computer, but it is virtual. Everything, the RAM you get, the CPU you get, everything is virtual. It's not like you are getting an actual, it is an actual computer, but things are divided into a lot of parts, right? So that a lot of people can share it. So there is also a term called shared hosting, but what happens in that, you are sharing a same resource. So if like a website, like I have hosted my website with other parties, and my website gets like 100K visitors at a time. Yeah, WordPress is a great example. So what happens is that like my other people who are hosting in the same zone, they'll suffer. So if people are trying to visit it, they'll show like, oh, I cannot load, or whatever it can be. So that is the problem. But with VPS, there are softwares which everyone has, like it is like, if you heard about VMware, so they are also like VMware Cloud. So they offer stuff. Yeah. So they offer a virtualization solution. So you can buy with them and all. So every cloud provider uses these things called virtualization. And with that, you get exact, like, how much RAM should be allocated and all of that stuff. And same thing is this EC2. So EC2 means Elastic Compute Cloud, I think. Yeah. And okay. So here what we can do is we can rent computers. In the lamest term, if I say, we are renting computers from AWS, because if I try to set up here something like, if like I have a like big computer, I got a server rack or something like that, which a lot of people or government and school and colleges do. So they have their own server and exposed to it. But can you guarantee like will you have a internet like of 99 or 100% of time? No, we don't have that. Why AWS has that guarantee and SLAs? Because they take internet directly from tier 1 and tier 2. So this is like what we use is actually tier 3. So whether it's Tata, Reliance, or Google, like they have their own fiber inside, like through the seas, and it connects everything. So that's how things work, and that's how they are able to give you 100% or 99.9% uptime, whatever they promise. And what SLA is, I'll explain you a bit. So if you Google or like, so they give SLAs. What it means is okay. Yeah. What happens is like, let's suppose something happened to AWS and your site went down, but like you paid them $1,000 like for host, like renting their EC2. So if you go, like I'll show you what instances. So everybody, any doubts, like if you have, please feel free to ask. You don't have to hesitate, like if you are not able to understand anything, like any part of it. So I explained you like how the servers is, what actually like AWS does. It, at the end of the day, they are just we are just renting computers from AWS and services from AWS, like which they have built. That's it. We could have built it by ourselves, but it will be expensive. So if you are just starting out and you like, because they are expert at what they do. So yeah. Any doubt, guys? I'll create a server right now and show you what things, like if you have any bit, little bit of Linux knowledge, it will be really helpful. Please feel free to ask, guys. Don't be shy. I know a lot of people are introverts. I am one of them, so don't worry. Okay, so I'll create my server thing. Understanding just the upper layer now. What it is, I did not get you, Pratyush. I also don't know like everything about the, what do you say, all the networking layer 1, layer 2, and like 7 layers. I forgot, I learned it in college, but yeah. So here, like you just go here and like you want to host something, maybe you made like a website in Node.js, Python, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be like that. So same thing, like you select Ubuntu, you can go with Amazon Linux, but you might AWS might give you hard time with Amazon Linux, but their on integration will work great with it. So here you see this free tier thing. You can select any of it, and you also get like enterprise operating systems like Red Hat, Windows, and like a lot of things which you can get, and it will like cost you again like subscription like thing. So here what you like right now, here you see like you want 1 GB of RAM, one virtual core CPU. If you notice, it is virtual core. They are not saying it is CPU, actual CPU. Everything here is virtual. So if you want to go small and like there are big things, you can get like terabytes of RAM as well with AWS. Like you can see we are getting like 256 1024. It means 1 terabyte of RAM. So as you can see how powerful AWS is. So, and why people use it. So if you are something like you want to run something really powerful, you can just use it. And obviously you will go broke because like on demand, like here they show you, they'll charge you like around $13 per hour. So yeah, once you create your account, you also have to check with this region thing, right? So every region has different pricing, because see, like if you are running a business in different country, they'll charge you something else. This is why, like, it's the simplest explanation I could give to you. Okay, so you can select architecture if you want x86 or ARM. So ARM is like something which mobile phones use, and it like lot of softwares might not support ARM. Okay, and you select whatever you like, but I'll suggest you, if you are trying, just try to stay under free tier. You won't get any charge. Even if you are like out of free tier, just, you know. And here we have to do key pair login, and they don't what is key pair is like, it is SSH. So this is how we log into any system, remote system. Okay, any doubts still here, guys?
EC2 is not serverless, right?
No, EC2 is not serverless. You pay per hour. Like they say, like this is the cost, and this is what you'll have to pay. And also, like if you are planning like, okay, I want to host this for like let's say like I'll keep my website running for 3 years, and you are damn sure about it that you will run it. So what you can do, the AWS offers something called reserved instances, which I have like used for some of my clients. So what in if you take that, if you pay upfront, like AWS, take my money, here is like $200, $300, whatever it comes to. And what they'll do is they'll give you 20 to 30% a discount on their computer. So if you want that, then that is like a good solution if you want to save cost there.
Excuse me, like I want to ask, like you are renting an entire computer just
No,
to
no,
host a
no.
website?
We don't rent an entire computer. What we rent is a virtual computer. If you want to rent an entire, like you like, it's called, I forgot, it is called bare metal. So if you, then you will get the whole computer, you have the whole thing, you have the full control there. It will cost you, I think, a few thousands of dollars, right?
Actually, entire computer means like on the server, the entire PC.
Yeah,
The,
exactly. You will get like a server rack. So one block of server. That's called bare metal. Yes, Jatin, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to elaborate on the question. I
Y-
think I don't know
Sure.
the name who was asking. So yeah, that is bare metal, where you get the entire server,
Yeah.
and it's like virtual. We create some virtual environments on a single machine, and based on what configuration you select, we provide you that virtualized environment, and a computer can run many virtualized environments. Say, for example, I have a computer with 16 GB of RAM and 4 CPUs. Then I can create 4 environments of 1 B CPU and 4 GB RAM. Hope
Yeah,
that, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So like, let's suppose it will be cheaper, like if you are trying to like resell it or do something like that, I guess.
And I also wanted to ask that serverless means running functions only, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll get back to it. So right now,
okay,
like
okay,
I'll
yeah.
just like most people know EC2, so I'll just leave this here. Like this is how you, because I want to focus more on. So if anyone has more questions about EC2, it's pretty simple. Like you will create a new pair here. Like you can use this and like use OpenSSH. Even with Windows, you don't have to use putty or putty, whatever it is, and you put like key pair name, Zoom session or something like that, and it will create a key pair and it will be downloaded, and they'll guide you through, like you just pass this file. And yeah, so this is how you do the traditional things, and you will find a lot of tutorials how to do this. So just go ahead on YouTube and search, anyone can, like, and this is like pretty easy thing. Don't bother about advanced things. And here, like the volume, storage and all that thing you can configure. Again, don't bother about this. If you are beginner, don't. And you can just hit the launch instance and it is going to work. Good question, Pratyush. How is EC2 different than Hostinger? Yeah, so Hostinger, as I talked earlier, like it is what do you say, a shared hosting. They also provide, I think, what do I say, VPS as well. So yeah, shared hosting is like your resources will be shared. If one person is impacted, then rest will be impacted as well. So if you seriously want to run a business, like don't go on a shared hosting, please. So yeah, coming back to serverless. So a lot of things AWS offers. So first, the term serverless, you guys are like really confused. What exactly is serverless? Right. So a lot of, like, right now AWS has made the serverless like they just add it to any of their services with auto scaling enabled, and they say, yeah, it's serverless, which I really hate them for that. So like, no hard feelings, but yeah. So what is true serverless? If you go to something like, see, I am like going back where it is. Yeah. First thing is the biggest thing I'm not sure if AWS came up with Lambda or who was the first company or person to came up with it. If anyone knows, please let me know. So yeah, this is AWS Lambda. So run code without thinking about servers. Yeah, like what happens here is, if I'll show you how to get the pricing of anything. You simply visit calculator.aws, and here you can create your estimates. Okay, so I'll explain you how serverless things are. So, and first I would like to discuss who serverless is suitable for. Okay. uh if anyone has any like idea, like what's like where should you use serverless and where should you like stick to a traditional system, which we call it monolithic. We just have a like a single instance and like we put all the stuff in it. If anyone knows, please try to explain, like it will be great.
I
Yeah.
think to interact with your S3, and you want to write a Node.js code for that. So you do
Okay.
not need a EC2 server to write a Node.js code to interact with your S3. You can
Mm-hmm.
directly write a Lambda function for that, which will do the stuff. Maybe the processing of the data which we want to do on the S3, we can do
Okay.
via
Okay.
serverless.
Yeah. Good example. Yes, Jatin, go ahead.
So what I'm thinking is that we can use serverless for running functions which we don't require very often. Let's say there's a cron job that happens that should run upon, I mean, once a week, right? So I don't need to rent an entire server for that. I can just schedule it
Okay.
to run it
Yeah,
once
I
once every
got
day.
it. So let me like show you something. I won't speak much, but I'll show you guys things. So can you give me, Jatin, give me an imaginary number, like how much requests you want on your website? Like let's suppose you are going with like T2 like micro, like you get a 1 GB. So how many requests it will be able to handle?
I don't know. Let's say I want to be able to handle 100,000 requests.
100,000 requests like per day or per month?
Yeah, per day.
Okay, per
That's
day.
it. Per
Great.
day.
So for that, I am pretty sure you will have to go with extra large version of that. So we will compare it right here. So here you can search all the services. We go with the EC2 route. I am not talking about auto scaling or anything like that. So we'll go here. I'll zoom in a bit more. So you can enter description, and if you like go here, North Virginia, US East one will be the cheapest. So try to use that. So shared instance, like here you see like, yeah, it's called dedicated host. If you want like a bare metal, so they call it dedicated host. And we are like assuming like we will get a shared, and yeah, we will do the Linux thing and EC2. So here you see all this instance. So we at least need, what do I say? C4. C4, let's suppose like we go with C4 extra large. Okay.
Yep.
And I call it EC2 cost. Okay. Constant usage. So these things are constant. Like I'm trying to like number of just one instance, and we are just renting this thing. Like we are like not configuring anything or anything like that, right? So payment options here, like you see, as I told you about saving plans, if you buy for 3 years or 1 year, you will get some discount. But let's suppose we want it on demand, like we don't know like if the traffic is going to like reduce or include. We don't want to make the commitment. Okay. So your cost is coming like $145 per month. If you like see here and here, like here also you will see. So around $150 you will have to pay if you want to, like, I'm not sure even it will be able to handle, but like this is like the even like we will have to go higher, like 30 GB or something. If I select this, like see how the cost spikes. But the is upscaling and downscaling thing, like even if you use auto scaling group, that will cost you, like I tried to use that, that's the just for that cost, like it is like $30 for one, like load balancer, which will automatically spin up new servers, like what do I say, horizontally, right? So just keep a note of this, like if you are like, we are expecting like 100,000 like requests daily, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So it depends, like let's suppose like we just go with 15 GB, like we are not doing much processing there. We are just sending like a static response or anything like that. Save and add service will do. So now to make something like a REST API with serverless, we need two things. We need an API gateway and we need Lambda. So yes, we will be using the HTTP API, and let's say API cost, and region I'm trying to keep same. So per day you said 100,000, right?
Yep.
100,000. Cool.
Absolutely.
Average size 34 KB. Like that's cool. We are not using the REST API or WebSocket. So this is it. So this is just $3.
I see.
Oh, that's serverless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Huge
it's not
difference.
yet. We need to add Lambda as well. So I'll go ahead and add Lambda. Okay. So you can just search here, which I am going to do. Yes. There is our Lambda. Okay. And Lambda cost. Here you see like we will go without free tier. We don't want free tier. Okay. We want to know the actual cost. So per month. Okay, cool. Or per day. Yeah, it is 100,000. So I'll enter 100,000. Cool.
Yep, yep.
And duration of each request in millisecond. Let's suppose like our API takes like 2 seconds
Yeah.
average, like memory, let's say for lambda memory, we will give 512 like megabytes.
Isn't that going to be less?
No, it's like for every function, like you can have
Function, yeah.
multiple lambdas.
Yeah. Got it.
It's not like you have everything separated. Okay. Yeah, I'll save and add service. So view summary, I'll go here. So if you look here, which one is cheaper?
Yep, I see. Yeah.
You
It's
see the
like
cost
it's
difference? Like even
around 6x less, around 5x. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's like that's like, see, if you go with we have like something called Kubernetes cluster and all that stuff. That will, like, if you are just starting up, it will cost a lot. Like if you go to like know any pricing, you can go here, but it's not necessary. So they call it Pratyush, yes, it is the cost of 100K visitors every day. And like we are assuming like our code is taking 2 seconds. So that is really bad, but yeah, we are assuming it like, so it's like the worst case in both the thing. So I'll go and show you the what modern, like if you don't want to use this Lambda and API gateway, you can go the Kubernetes way. EKS, AWS, I think Elastic Kubernetes Service. Okay. Yeah, so they give you a Kubernetes. If you are like trying this, you can do that as well. So yeah, they have like Fargate, EC2, all these things. And you can run your like traditional stuff here and all that. Like they have ingress, routing, and which I will not go deep into it. But yeah, this is one way. So like here you find which are the companies like Snapchat is using, like, so if you are like, if you have like I'll say team and budget to like go ahead and make this like in Kubernetes or something like that, it might be good for the organization. But if you are just starting out, if you are just like, you want to test your idea or product and you don't want to give a shit about like, oh, how much traffic I'm gonna get, like will my website crash with EC2? Trust me, like I have hosted like some websites on EC2. Like what happens, it always like crashes, like it goes into loop. So unless I stop it and start it again, it never comes back. So those things will never happen here, because what AWS does is they manage everything for you, right? So let's suppose even if you buy like a traditional server and you are storing all your files, medias, and all that stuff. So it will cost you a lot if you are just storing those things in EC2. But guess what? Like what we can use? S3, obviously. S3 is serverless because they only charge. So in simplest terms, serverless, you should call something serverless when you only pay for what you use. If I'm clear, if I'm not clear, please let me know. Like it's the simplest definition.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So let's suppose like our visitors decrease, like, or maybe like we are running a sale or ad campaign and suddenly we are getting like not 100K, like we are getting like 500K visitors daily. Like now will you like, or again, like create, copy, do all that thing with EC2? No, you will not do that. Like if you do with API gateway and Lambda, it will instantly scale. You just don't have to think about scale. Maybe it might cost you a bit more, but it is saving you a lot of time, like when you are building your product, right?
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. Ritika has
Excuse
question.
me. Uh, yeah, you just said like you are paying as you go, right? So this is also same with EC2, right? You said it is for serverless.
Sorry, I did not get you.
You said like you are paying as you go, like whatever you
Yeah,
are
but
using, you are paying for that.
for EC2, we pay the hourly price. We don't pay based on what we use. Are you understanding? So if I took this thing, like AWS, I got a extra large thing here, EC2, and what will happen is we will be like, no matter if we get a traffic, we don't get a traffic, like maybe you are paying $10, like maybe it is not a amount, like big amount for you, but if you use serverless, you won't even have to pay $1, which is what I am doing. So everything which I make these days is like everything is serverless. So this is why, and it scales. It's not just cost saving, it scales. With EC2, you will have to do is like there is what do I say? We called it EB. No, I'll go to EC2, back to EC2. So here we have a lot of scaling option as well. What Amazon will do is like, if you are trying to do that, like I'll tell you everything. So so you have here is your load balancers. Okay, so what they'll do is they'll monitor like how much CPU is being used, and based on that they'll spin up another EC2. But in a Lambda, you don't have to do anything. In API gateway, you don't have to do anything. There are some soft limits, like if you are sending 1,000,000 requests or something in a second, then you will have to request AWS to get more. Okay, so a few services to name, like what of them, like I'll go here and tell you what they do on my website itself, because I have listed them here. So if you go, and so yeah, simple queue service. So a lot of you might have heard about Apache Kafka. So it is like a tiny, just queuing thing again, which is like you only pay for what you use here. Like if you send just like if your queue is very small, tiny, you will only pay for that. So the budget we decided here, this is not like what we will get in serverless. Like it will be obviously less. This is the max we have estimated. So if I'm making this clear, like if you guys have any doubt, please ask me right away.
So specifically, if we are creating a REST API, so we should be going with serverless instead of hosting a EC2 instance for that.
Exactly. If you are trying to build something modern and you don't have any like requirements, and I'll show you like everything, like a bit of, I'll give you overview how you can build an actual like anything actual which works, like totally works. And also like if you use RDS, you will be paying $10 or whatever, like $25 for a database. And if you combine all these things, like you are paying for database, you are paying for like a CDN and all that thing. So what happens, your cost becomes like very expensive. So here, like let me just clear up. So light sail is same as EC2, but it is bit cheaper and you get less features here. So note about it. Lambda is serverless. Simple notification is serverless. Like if you can subscribe and get notification, push notification, and all that, you can like listen to Lambda from another Lambda and all that. And now DynamoDB is also serverless. I'll show you like how the DynamoDB looks. API gateway is also serverless because you only pay for what you use. Amplify is nothing, but it combines all the AWS services, and like it's they lets you write in like in just one place. That's it. SES is also like if people go and they buy like a mailing thing. So right now I have emailed a lot of people with SES itself. So which like I can email like 50. Let me show you. Don't just take my words. I'll show you. Simple email service. This is on Singapore. So if you go on SendGrid or like something like Postmark, so postmark dot, I think postmarkapp.com. So they say like they are an SES alternative as well. Okay, so serverless. Yes, exactly, Pratyush. Serverless is how much you pay only for what you consume. Yes, I am explaining like for what kind of. So if you go in pricing, like this is like a great email like thing. So for $15, you will get 10,000 email. They have a lot of services, but see, you are like getting this. And let me show you here in the SES. Is this my account? Let me check the verified identities. Yes, this is my account. And if I go in dashboard, you see how many emails I have sent. And let me show you the pricing for SES. Getting started, you just go here. So this is serverless. Postmark is if you send one email or 100 email or 10,000 email, you will pay $15, right? And for additional, like you will pay this. Okay, this is how it works. And this is also like a good strategy for businesses because like they are risking a lot of things. And yeah, it is great for transactional email and they give you a lot of features which SES doesn't. But if you don't have those requirements, why not just use SES? Where is this thing go? Yeah, here I go to the SES pricing and I'll show you here. So you can send 62,000 emails per month, like for free. And after 62,000, you pay $0.10 for 1,000 emails. Like just like think about it, how cheap it is. It is the cheapest service in market. Same goes for DynamoDB. So what is DynamoDB? It is does anyone know about DynamoDB?
Yeah, it's a NoSQL database.
Yes, it is a NoSQL database, but it is not that simple. So if I show you here, like what they have written is, they give you a response in a single digit. So it will be less than 10 millisecond, no matter what you query. If you combine your network request time as well, you will get any response in less than like, I'll say 200 milliseconds. Which no other database can give you, but DynamoDB has its own pros and cons. So I have written forget MongoDB because like I tried using, I was like using MongoDB previously, but right now what I started doing is like it was a lot of struggle for me to like learn DynamoDB, how to make design in a single table. So I'll show you the music streaming platform I'm working on. How the what do I say, sheets. Yeah, I'll switch to this tab simply. So this is how you have to design things here. You can't just use the where clause or any sort of things. So I cannot cover this in 1 hour or something because it is complicated. That's why like you only pay. Let me show you the pricing of DynamoDB in the calculator. I'll go here and go back to calculator, create estimate. And so Duolingo uses DynamoDB as well to store like some billion, like 3 billion or 4 billion records. So yeah, so you can think of like how fast it is, like those big companies are using. So we are using on demand. So make sure you don't use the provisioned one. So we will only pay for what we store, what we get. And it is called, yes, DynamoDB is like Cassandra. Yes, but they have simplified the APIs and they have done a lot of work. And also there is an open source alternative for DynamoDB. Okay, so what I will do here is I don't need this, so I'll everything. Let's suppose like 1 GB is a lot of data. Okay, so I'm storing 1 GB of data. 1 GB of data, average item size, like everything is like, let's say 5 KB. Okay, and standard writes, we will do transactional number of writes. It is in million. So let's say per month, we are like entering like 100,000. Okay. So we are inserting 100,000 new items in the database, DynamoDB database. Okay. And we are like reading, let's suppose we are reading 500,000 database. Oh, sorry. It's in millions. Sorry. Per month. You see like $1. Like, come on, guys. It is dirt cheap. Like you are getting like fetching records 500,000 times. And like all you pay is $1. So nothing can be cheaper and faster. Like if you are able to figure how to make the schema work with your, infrastructure. So again, coming back to services, I'll briefly explain. First, we create Lambda. What API gateway does is it sends us a request. Like you send a request, you get, put, post, whatever it is. API gateway will like transfer that request to Amazon AWS Lambda, and Lambda will like do whatever, like maybe you want to compress a image or do whatever you want, and then it will do, and it will go back to sleep after 5 minutes or something like that. Okay, so it will be staying awake for a moment, like till you request, and it will go back to sleep. So you might get like a bit delay initially when you send a request, like around 100 millisecond or something. Okay, and you fetch, like you store all your records in Amazon DynamoDB. So this is your basic, like, data thing. Like, and if you have any media files, the API gateway connects same with the AWS Lambda. And what they do is they store it in S3, where is, yes, this is S3. So you can retrieve, store, and all that thing. But see, S3 is costly. Okay, if you are directly retrieving, fetching, and guys, a very big thing I want to tell you is never make your bucket public. If you do that, what will happen is someone like bad person or hacker, you say, what they will do is they simply will try to figure out what are the objects. They find a pattern, then they'll just do like a DOS attack, and they'll keep fetching from your S3 bucket, and you will go broke. Trust me, the transfer rates for AWS is very high. So what you do is you put like for your all the assets you have, like let's suppose user uploads a picture. Okay, then you are storing this in S3. I will show you, like before we end this in the last 10 minutes, I'll show you how to use this S3 and CloudFront all together. So where is CloudFront? So yeah, Amazon CloudFront, what it will do is it will act as on a top of your S3, or you can, yeah, S3, or you can even use Lambdas in between to transfer and do all that stuff. But simply you will like put it here, like between Amazon Simple Storage and CloudFront. Like CloudFront will be like, and if something happens, if someone DDoSes it, this thing is cheaper than S3. Like the whatever you will get in the read, it will be cheaper. So that's the idea. Always use CloudFront or any kind of CDN, and it is so well integrated. You don't have to do lot of thing here. Okay. And Route 53 will be for your routing and all that stuff. And for WAF, like it is not like the pricing is like how many, rules you have. So DDoS attack and spam bot, something like which Cloudflare offers. So that is why we use web application firewall. Okay, So these are the top, like Event Bridge is also serverless. So is Media Convert. And CloudWatch also, you can store all your logs there. So guys, if you have any questions till now, please let me know. No questions? Is anyone listening, or I'm just speaking? Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, this is how we make things work in AWS world, which will cost. So like even big services, like I have friend like Ashish, like he works, like he has built this OTT platform completely serverless. Planet Marathi it was, yes.
Is it official or a personal project?
What this?
Yeah, this Planet Marathi.
Uh, it's a big, like big thing. Like it's a like a big OTT platform in Maharashtra.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, so he has like I have like he has helped me a lot in all these things. So everything is serverless, like whatever it is being fetched, like it is everything is stored in S3 and whatever, and everything is very much secure, because if you just copy and try to keep downloading the image, it will not happen because there is signing going on. So yeah.
Shivam, I wanted to know like how much bill they are getting.
Planet Marathi, so they are like initially like they were getting a lot. Since they moved to serverless, they are like getting around, I think, $4,000-5,000.
Okay, and number of users per day or per month, like streaming.
I think they are serving millions of requests per day.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. And the thing is, like, if you go in a media thing, you know how much size and all these things, it costs you a lot because of the bandwidth.
Yeah, yeah, and the continuous streaming should be there. It's like very much.
Exactly. So those things are there. So quickly for people, like I would like to show how to like if they make a static website or something, how can they like use S3 to host it at no cost. So I'll go to S3. So are you guys interested in like this? Definitely.
Of course, for all the projects we want to host.
Yeah. Great. So in S3 we have a lot of buckets. So I have lot of bucket. You will not have any bucket. So it is global. So in some services, if you go to CloudFront as well, it will be global. So this is not like you will be like, because S3 is not depending on a region, but you still select a region here. You have to select like, but they show all the buckets in one place. So what you do is you simply create a bucket. Hello Zoom hosting, whatever, and always try to pick what is nearest. If you are not putting CloudFront, if you are yeah, which you will be doing, like I guess, so just go with the cheapest one, which is US East one. Okay, ACLs disabled, and make sure you guys block this public access. And you don't need bucket versioning and all that thing. Just create a bucket. Okay, so you will see here where is hello Zoom hosting. Here we, oh no, I opened something else. Hello Zoom hosting. Okay, cool. So I have nothing here. So what most people show you is they'll just upload a file here, and what they'll do is they'll make the bucket public, which will make sure that you go broke, or if you don't pay, your AWS is going to like suspend your account. Okay. And I use CLI as well. So many people hate CLI, but I love CLI. So AWS S3 and I do LS. So what will I get is all the, like you see all this thing, and I can copy, sync, and like remove and create like pre-signed URLs from terminal itself. Okay, but I'll show you the GUI ways. So let's just create nvim index.html, and I'll quickly, yeah. So I'll get up, hello there, my friends, and in an H1 you can use anything like I right now I use Astro, but make sure you generate a static site. You can only host a static sites here, so just keep in mind. Cloudflare pages are also good, but I benchmarked both AWS site which is hosted on AWS and which is hosted on Cloudflare, but the like response time is huge. So you get like 3x, 4x, like, time boost. I'll do same. Hello there, my friend. Okay. This is it. And I just simply need to copy this file there. So I'll come here and go in home and index.html. Okay, you can just drag drop here. So I'll do this. Make sure you name it index.html. And this is the basic web development thing. Everyone knows this, right? Okay. So, and total, you can see like how much size it is and all that. You just hit upload. That's it. It's not big of a deal. And the issue I will face here is CloudFront. Why? Because it takes like 15 minutes to deploy. So now you have to go to CloudFront. And as you can see, I am hosting a lot of assets here as well. So you have to select this origin. So we had this Zoom thing, right? I can just search, I think. Yes, hello Zoom hosting. And origin path, we don't need it here. And we want this to be accessible public. Okay. And like, see, they have like origin shield and all that, like to protect you from here. And redirect, we want to use the HTTPS. So go with this. Redirect, make sure like you enable get and head, or you can enable all these if you are experimenting a lot. And cache policy, like they have this, and you don't have to bother about this. And for WAF, as I showed you, this is for protecting your website. Okay. And if you want a custom domain, you go there and you create a certificate which you use, and they are supporting HTTP 3 as well. So they are not outdated. And one more thing, I think we need to optimize, like here, I think, I don't know.
Shivam, I have a question. Like, AWS provides this SSL thing by default, or we need to buy from some third party?
Yeah, AWS provides you everything. If you are in AWS, you will never look for anyone else.
Cool. Actually, I use Azure extensively due to my client work and all. So in Azure, there is some issue. If you have this, only you can get the SSL certificate for your root domain, not for others. So there's the thing I am facing every time.
Okay. I don't like Azure, so I don't use it at all.
Yeah, like in that only for root domains means you should have this www thing.
Oh, okay. No, like here you get the full like option flexibility. You can get like a full domain. Like if I show you in the certificate, like you have to go to ACM and then add a certificate. Like you can add here and select like ABC or whatever, learn AWS or whatever you want. So you have the full flexibility here.
Cool.
So if you want to like enable IPv6, which you all should do, So yeah, description, I can put like Zoom testing a website. Okay. And again, I'm not finding where the thing was where like they ask you to add some policy in that. But okay, we'll see. So after it is done, so right now we have got this domain. Okay. I'll delete it later, but yeah, you can try to visit it. It will not open right away. But, and also if you think that you will just put a CNAME and you redirect this to here, and then it will fail. So you will have to do the certificate thing here. So guys, I think this is how you will host, like the page which we made, it will come here if we wait for 10 minutes, I guess. And what else we were going to cover? I think I have covered almost everything. So I can answer any questions you have right now. So go ahead.
I have one question. In this, you have used S3 and CloudFront. So
Yes.
if I assume like to access any data into S3 publicly, we require CloudFront for that.
Yes, exactly. You got that absolutely right. Without making publicly. Also, there is one thing, what you can do is you can use signed cookies, which I was trying, like I struggled a bit. So what will happen? User needs to have that cookie parameter in their, like, request, like in their website, like in their browser. So then only they will be able to access it. If you like go in, I was testing it somewhere. So if you want to make it more secure, let's suppose like your website is like private, or even if it is public, you just don't want someone to have like a static link of your image so that they can keep downloading and incur cost to you. What you want to do is you always want like temporary URLs and temporary resources, which is like generated based on any authentication or something like that. So this is which I made like image gallery distribution thing. So here, like what people, like if they like don't allow cookie or something, so every request gets signed, like all the images which I load here, if you disable cookie, none of them will load. So CloudFront gives you a great option for this if you want those securities. So is that clear? Like who was speaking? Sorry, I could not get.
It's clear.
Harsh.
Clear.
More questions, guys?
I also have a personal question actually.
Sure, sure.
I make a lot of personal projects, and there is a requirement for database, mainly SQL.
Okay.
In all of them. So whenever I have to present those projects to someone else, I can't find a proper way so that I can host those database somewhere.
Well,
Those are
my
not
friend, your solution is simple. It's called RDS. This is the cheapest and best thing you will get. So here you will get MySQL, Postgres, and what do I say? Microsoft SQL as well. So in database, you can create, like I used this one for like one of my client for MySQL database. And yeah, so the minimum cost, it will be like around $12-13, something like that, if you go with the least size.
even it is but I'm asking for personal projects. Like they will be hosted for years. Like if you see that Heroku is providing those kind of services, but they have suspended that right now. Like you are just hosting for your personal portfolio projects kind of thing.
Yeah, but I
Not
don't
that.
think Heroku provides you database as well?
No, it doesn't provide the database, but the for the hosting, It is
Yeah,
free,
for
no?
the hosting, as I said, just use S3 and CloudFront thing, which I showed you. Like, if you get stuck, like you can reach out to me anywhere. And also, like, I'll share these, like this recording, so that like if you missed something, you can get back to it.
I think Heroku recently stopped, no, this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Heroku,
Like during college, I made some projects. I keep getting mails from Heroku. You want to delete that data? We stop some services.
I like only made like my one project on Heroku. Then I just moved on to other services like DigitalOcean, Lightsail,
Mhm.
EC2, and there is also this thing Glitch. Like if you want to use this, is like for experimenting. It is really great. This is what I use.
Oh, cool.
Uh, why is it taking so much time? So yeah, you can just write your code and like you get a editor live, and it is really easy compared to Heroku and all.
Nice.
Okay, more question, guys.
So basically, instead of serverless, like if you want to use this EC2 and all, like
Mhm.
for building big infrastructure, it's a good choice, right?
uh like only if you have, see, right now, like if you will not use a managed database, how will you scale the database? So there,
Mhm.
then like you will have to get a shared storage, which is EFS. Like Amazon provides it. It is called EFS, Elastic File System. This is
Mhm.
like a serverless storage you can attach to hundreds of EC2 and like
Oh,
store and like shared something like that. But with database, it comes a lot of responsibility. So
okay.
I'll suggest try not to host it by yourself, because what I did is like I was working with my friend, and like I accidentally deleted the whole instance, and yeah, so now you know.
Okay.
Yeah, you forgot that setting, right?
What?
There's a settings in which you can save the EFS volume
Yeah.
while you are deleting the
EFS
EC2.
is like it is persistent. It is something else. Like what you usually get with EC2 is EVS, Elastic Volume Storage, something like that.
Okay.
So lot of terms here. I know it is overwhelming, guys, and I have struggled a lot with AWS as well. So I'm just trying to like see if someone is interested in this and like trying to teach them. So like I have got like 7 peoples in my like who wants to be like a pro in AWS, and like all these things are like so complicated. So yeah,
How long have you been using AWS?
an year, like for a year.
I used AWS an year back,
uh,
and yeah, I don't do cloud much, but yeah,
okay.
it was
Okay,
approximately an year back when I used AWS. So yeah, just wanted a refresher on that
sure,
this
sure.
webinar.
Yeah, so like you can see status is enabled here on our Zoom site. So if we go and reload here, if everything works well, oh no, yeah, this was the expected thing which you will get first. So if you go in origins, and here you go in edit, I think I'm missing something. Origin access. Oh, yeah. Yes, we enable this. I forgot this. That's why like we have not made our bucket public, so we can't choose this option. So origin access control this thing, and I'll create legacy access and just select yes, and you can create new OAI here, like this. And what they will do is they will automatically add this permission for you and create a role and all that. So IAM is also very important, guys. So if you are getting started, make sure you are you have like a good grip on like how all the permission and all those things. So if you now you can see it is deploying again, it will take 5 minutes. And in the meanwhile, you can throw me up with some questions if you might have.
As you said, like your some of your friends are working in AWS, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask, like, what are the day-to-day tasks they are doing in the industry while using AWS?
As I ex- excuse me. So yeah, as I said, like see, in AWS, it's just like you are getting everything in one place, but people do choose to use other, like there are CDNs like Akamai and all that, which will be cheaper if you are looking for like a big medias and like assets to host or serve. So see, AWS is nothing but it's like how you build your backend or server or anything like that. It's like even if you are doing IoT, so for that AWS has IoT event score. So this is like if you might have heard about like company called Ring, they make like door cameras and like they use AWS as well. And most of like your smart devices and IoT, they are using AWS because Google shut down their IoT core. So is it like fair? Like who asked that? What?
Even a lot of gaming companies use AWS extensively.
Yeah, Shiv, yeah. Lot of yeah, for gaming as well. Like AWS has got like most of the industries covered. So yeah.
True.
So if you want to use authentication and all that, so you can just go here in Cognito, like you only pay for like how many users you have active, and it is
Cognito is
like
best one. I use this couple of times.
okay, great.
Like
So
one of my client, his whole infrastructure is on Azure, but he's using Amazon Cognito for this authentication.
okay, I see. Like, are they using .NET or something? Why are
Yeah,
they
yeah,
on Azure?
.NET.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you like go in AWS, they support .NET better than Azure, I feel like.
True. Like I said no yesterday, like their documentation is
Mhm.
like really shit. They never update in Azure. That's the issue.
Yeah. Right, I think it should have been deployed by now. So guys, a lot of guys are just silent and they are not speaking at all. What's up? Like if you have like is like most of the stuff I said, like did it like even like 10% if you were able to understand, that's great. Okay, no problem. So Pratyush, I understand, but like did you understand how we host the S3 thing? Like how we did this? Like it's enabled. We should be able to view it. Okay. Still not. I
little.
am not sure what is going on, but yeah.
I got the point a little bit, but the process was so complicated.
Exactly. So process is complicated with GUI. Hi guys, so I managed to figure out the issue. The issue was that we are not using the default root object here, so which means if we go to /index.html, the thing works, the HTML page loads. So that's why what we need to do is go here in edit, and here in the default root object what we need is just simply index.html, and I'll hit save changes, and it is deploying, and I'll be back soon. So guys, it has been deployed as you can see here, and if we go here and remove index.html from here and hit enter, and as you can see it still works. If I refresh it, it still works. If I copy it and open it in the new private window and I hit enter, and you still get it. So yeah, that was the mistake. That's why like in the cohort, like we are going to use CDK. So what CDK is like to define this bucket. Why GUI can be bad is you don't have much finer control here. Everything at the end of the day, everything you create here, an API gets called and you have access to all the APIs of AWS. So if we use CDK, what we do is we write something like we write a code. I'll show you CDK a bit. So code as infrastructure, we call it. Let me show you a bit. This is what I ideally use. AWS CDK. If you go to developer guide, you can write it in anything, but we will be using TypeScript here. So this is like we have SQS, S3, Lambda function, DynamoDB. And what you do is you simply write the code, and what it will do is it will spin up all the infrastructures. Are you getting, Pratyush?
Okay, so the GUI process will be used through TypeScript, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we won't be manually going, creating, deleting bucket because it's a hassle, right? You don't
Yeah.
understand where you went wrong and all that thing. You have like lot of option which is default. So here is the code. Like this is how, like, let's suppose you want to create a EC2 VPC or cluster. So all you do is new EC2 and like this. This is all you need to make a cluster. That's it. This is that simple. So if I want to make a Lambda function, I'll go back and in the examples here, if you can try it out. Yeah, they have like for Lambda, we write code and all that thing. Okay, so here, see what they did is they created a bucket. We manually went, we typed the name, but with CDK, what we simply did in this function, you will get everything like the CLI will make everything for you. So you simply do new s3.bucket and you pass the bucket like ID or whatever, and you can pass name and all that stuff. But this is just, you just need to write one line of code to create a bucket. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be explaining more into right now. I did not have much time, so I'll be going through step by step. Today I had to cover a lot. I know you guys did not get much from it, so but yeah, so you might have got some. So this is how you write a Lambda function. So we will import the code. So like wherever like you have written some calculation going on, image processing going on. So this is how you simply make a Lambda function. And now comes the permission part, which I messed up here. That's why I am getting this, because I use the GUI. So yeah. So right now, if you use CDK and you integrate things and all, so here you can simply do bucket grant read write. Okay. And here you pass this handler. So what it does is it tells you like it will automatically create policy and everything and attach it to your Lambda. So now what you can do is your function will be able to read and write in the bucket. So you don't have to use any API key, create API key and go through all the pain. This is why I am like very much impressed with CDK. And again, this is how you will create a REST API. And this is how you will send like a JSON response. And here, this is how you will get, that's it. This is all you need to make like a simple single REST API. Does that make sense? Great. Pratyush, you got anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Better than before.
Okay, great. So yeah, this is what we are going to use. Again, like, will this come back? or not. So yeah, I'll check it out what happened and maybe update it in the video which I'll publish. So don't worry about it. I will not leave you guys hanging. So yeah, again, like I'll have 5 more minutes. So yeah, if you guys have any question, like yeah, so Shiv and Pratyush, I think you guys are already in the cohort. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more, like I'm organizing this like 1.5 month cohort where you will like get to learn all these services, not just in one day, which is impossible, over like 1.5 month of period. And we will be at the end, we will have like a music streaming platform, something like Spotify, using completely serverless technologies. So if you have any questions, please let me know. No more question, guys?
We'll get to know every services from basic, right?
Yes, exactly. I'll start from basic. You just need to understand how things work at a higher level, which I explained earlier. So you were clear about that, right? That we have an IP, we have a computer which AWS is hosting.
Okay. I just felt drag and drop of Netlify.
Exactly. That's what most people do. But
Yeah.
see, like everyone can drag and drop, but why will like other people or companies will want you if like you will just be dragging, dropping and building the site, right?
I mean, what kind of at minimum web application we need to uh, means upload in AWS?
Sorry, can you speak a bit loud,
Uh,
Pratyush?
I mean, at what range? I mean, let's say I have a very little, very small application with less user. Do I need AWS?
Do you have like any APIs or anything like that?
Yeah, just to fetch a little bit of data.
You will have a database, right?
Yeah.
Yes, use AWS. If you like, as I said, if you don't want to spend a dime, use AWS. I want to send emails, I'll use like AWS. So like I showed you guys DynamoDB, like for $1, like just for $1, which is like 80 rupees in India right now, you will be able to read 500 times. So, and if you go with SQL way or MongoDB way, so they will charge you and it will be slow as well. And they'll charge you like something, I'll say like $10 is minimum, but if you like go with MongoDB higher packages, they are like charging like $40-50 per month. So just think about it. It's all about pricing and scale. Yes, Pratyush.
So I was starting to learn the Mon stack.
Okay.
I'm learning the React stuff right now. So it means learning AWS will change the Mongo to AWS, right?
Yes, it will change it to DynamoDB.
Okay.
So let me show you how data are stored. Do I have a DynamoDB? I think I deleted, but I'll show you 1-2 records maybe if I have.
Shimo, if you don't mind me jumping, then I think there's a lot of confusion within our people here that I think, I mean, AWS by the end of the day is just, you could say it's a computer everything that you are doing in your local machine, you
Exactly.
can do it pretty much in AWS. You are just renting a hardware there to run your software, and you don't have to worry about setting up networks, configuring a static IP, which we need for, which basically need to be able to access your software through the internet. We need some kind of static IP. So yeah, it's just like AWS take cares of everything of giving us the computer and all that. We just have to upload our code and just run it there. That's it.
Exactly. That's like a simplest explanation.
Yeah, for cloud computing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't have to set up any kind of infrastructure at our own location to be able to serve our application. We just rent a server in from any providers. Say, for example, it can be AWS as we're talking, it can be Azure, it can be DigitalOcean. And we just upload our code there. We do whatever setup we do on our machine to be able to run the code, which is, you can say, installing the dependencies,
Exactly.
setting, yeah. And I think we didn't cover the security groups. Is it called security groups? I don't remember.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I don't think many of us like here people are aware about like what are the ports and what are inbound,
Yeah.
outbound.
Yeah, but I think it's really essential
Yeah.
for me.
So guys, so just to make things clear about security, and this is how the DynamoDB looks. If you wanna see, like, you scan it or you query it. So here you see how much capacity it consumes, and based on this number you will be charged. So like I only have 2 items here, so it is like it is not going to cost me anything. Okay. So in the security groups, it's like easy to, if you go there, or should I just cover security groups or web application firewall?
I think security group should be covered because it is
Okay.
what allows us to access the different ports
Yeah,
from our
definitely.
machine, right?
Yeah. So if I go in security groups, so you can create multiple groups and all that. So you see this launch wizard things. So what happens is whenever you like create a new instance, like it by default it gets created. So I have this, like, you can create here simply create security group, like we can say allow SSH. SSH means secure shell. Description, like it is, I think, optional. No, let's put allow SSH. And VPC is like your AWS assigns you a VPC for like assigns you like a unique VPC to every customer, so that you are secured. Like everything is inside your like a private cloud, and this is how you expose your EC2 is in a VPC, your Lambda is in a VPC, right? If you can create your new VPC as well. It costs around $30-40, I think. So yeah, so this is outbound rules. So it means the traffics which will go out from your uh, server, right? So you have like Node.js running, but you want to make sure that you are like, maybe there is some Node.js package which is malicious and which doesn't request or do like something like that. So what you can do, like you can allow only HTTP or something like that. But for ideally you can keep it open, but always make sure like you are running like all the, just check what request you want. Like let's suppose you are connecting to a MySQL Aurora, that's it, or Postgres SQL. The only thing which you do, the best thing will be just come here, select. So your application will not be able to send any traffic outside this port, which is 5432. Many people like said about SQL, right? And here this is like cool. If you want it to limit to a custom IP, so you get these things, and like you will see your if you create a another database, you will just see. So you can like CIDR groups. I'll not go into much details. So if your database server IP is something like 192.2 or whatever, so what you do is you just go here and you select this. This makes it more secure. So, and this is for inbound. What traffics these your server or whatever you are cluster you are running can take. Okay. So if I add rule here, so TCP and UDP, we generally use TCP. So here you can see list. HTTP, definitely. When we are like requesting a website, that see, I'm requesting this. It is an HTTP request, which by default the port is 80. You want your server to allow it. Without allowing this, you won't be able to access it. It's that simple. Okay. And if you want to run like on SSL, always use HTTPS, and you can add more. So you are like all good here with HTTP and HTTPS. So yeah. Yes, Jatin, you are saying something.
Yeah, I was just saying that in plain, if we say in plain language, then security groups are just firewall. We can call it firewall. That
Yep,
what
exactly.
all ports I want my computer to be able to communicate with the internet, right? So
Yes,
outbound rules should be what ports my server should be able to access from the outside world, and inbound
exactly.
rules would be what the outside world is allowed to, which ports outside world is allowed to access from my server.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this was like all about if you are just trying to get started with EC2 or like AWS. If you try like to do a bit of more research and you just go and do experiment, you will be able to figure out some stuff, guys. So yeah, I think that's it from my side. Again, like if you have questions, I'll like stay here for 5 more minutes. Like we have exceeded the time limit.
If everybody understand हिंदी, हम कोहर्ट को हिंदी में कर सकते हैं? थोड़ा
Okay, sure,
complicated लग
sure.
रहा है.
If everybody agrees, then no problem.
मतलब AWS अभी जो जितना स्टफ गया थोड़ा complicated लगा.
Yeah, I know.
शिवम, अच्छा रहेगा अगर हम सबको पहले ये बताएं कि क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग क्या है, और फिर उसके बाद हम AWS का इंट्रोडक्शन दें. क्या कहते हो आप?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's why I was like मैं कोशिश कर रहा था कि मैं पहले explanation दूं कि like what is cloud, how server works. But I from like when I start the cohort, like from 20th, like I'll be like coming up with some presentation and some diagrams so that it will help a bit to all of you guys. So
I mean मैंने जब अभी जस्ट मतलब HTML CSS JavaScript और currently React और Node थोड़ा थोड़ा सीख रहा हूँ, तो होस्टिंग वगैरह मतलब इतना नॉलेज नहीं है कि AWS.
yeah, don't worry about that. That's why I said like I'll make from next time, I'll take care of it.
और means I mean for working in AWS in any company or something, we need certification, right?
No, it's not necessary.
Okay. So I searched in Google, then there were a lot of means hell lot of certification programs. They're
Uh,
saying get the
yeah,
certificate.
but the thing is, for if you want any certificate, they take around, I think, 10K or 15K, something like that. And if you don't pass the exam, like it is like you just lost your money and you did not learn much, because in for like they are like not that a very practical question. They're like come up with like a very critical situation. You have to do this, you have to do that. But it is like, if you understand about AWS, if you work with it for 6 months or for a year, you will be able to crack it.
Yeah, regarding certifications, I just want to share a couple of words because like I do host a lot of events and do Microsoft Azure sessions and boot camps as well. A lot of people come up with these questions. One of my friend, I'm 2021 graduate. So one of my friend was in college. So she, what she did, she just gone through some courses and cracked somehow AWS basic certification. And she got into AWS support role because of that certification. But when she actually joined the AWS, she was unable to, work on the actual tasks which she were getting as the tickets. Like they need to work on a lot of services.
That's an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what happens if you focus on just clearing the certification.
Yeah.
More than clearing the certification, if you, like join like these sessions, or if you just go to YouTube or, make some practical projects using AWS various services like EC2, whether it may be serverless or Lambda, just make couple of projects, understand what are the services involved in it, how to use them. That is more than enough, like having a certification, I could say. Like certification
And
is like a validation, but it is just a validation of the basic services which you have. It is not the validation of the hands-on services.
yep, absolutely. And that's much more important, having hands-on experience rather than just mugging up documentation and knowing how to do. Yeah, I mean, just mugging up the steps. You won't need to remember the steps if you know what's. I mean, if you have a logical flow inside your mind that this is what I need to do, you will never have to mug up any documentation. And yeah, if you understand the concepts, then I believe you can not only work with AWS, but you will be able to get up to date with any service.
Yeah, even to get the job, don't focus on certifications, because once you are good with these services and if you understand how to work, after joining the corporate, they will provide you, opportunity to crack the certifications for free. They will provide because in right now, if you go for the certification, it will expire in 1 to 2 years. Later, it won't be valid. Once you go to corporate, then you take the certification. It might be helpful.
And I never did any certifications. I'm completely self-taught.
Same. Yeah, even me.
Yeah.
Same here, guys. But I'm like
experience.
planning to like get certification in like couple of months. Maybe like it kind of like builds like a trust, like
Yeah. That's the only reason people go
like,
for certification.
I mean, it's not like you will learn anything if you do, like, because I went through their questions. It's like so basic and like for the solution architect ones.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's more about
thanks a lot,
experience.
Shiv and Jatin, for like giving insights on this. So Pratyush, did you understand like what we meant?
Yeah.
Great. By the way, Pratyush, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Great.
You are very early, man. You could be doing wonders if you focus.
Exactly.
You could be doing wonders here.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. So I'll see you on 20th if you are in cohort. And if you want to join or if you have any questions, you can text me on WhatsApp. So, yeah. So, anything else? Or we can say goodbye now. It's pretty late.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, Shivam.
Yeah, thank you very much
Sure.
for the
No
introductory
problem.
session.
Thanks to
Excited
you guys.
for the cohort.
Okay, guys. Bye.
Bye, Shivam. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Shivam.